Hey, we're talking about the Olympics, right? Why not go out there and talk about one of the biggest, meanest, most Finnish machines on the blue line? Today, we are heading over to Milano Cortina and talking about Rasmus Ristolainen. And I'm joking about that. We're not going over to Italy to talk about this guy. We're going over to Philadelphia. Because right now, Risto is a Philly Flyers D-man, 31 years old, 6'4", 220. Signed on till the end of next season, making $5.1 million a year. Ristolainen is a pretty interesting player because over the past few years, I feel like he has really developed an up-and-down, Jekyll and Hyde reputation for himself. This is a guy that, throughout his days in Buffalo and Philadelphia, there have been point production seasons, 45 points each. There have been lowly point production seasons. And all throughout these years in the National Hockey League, Rasmus Ristolainen's name has been filled with controversy. Is he good? Is he bad? Is he a sloppy, defensively irresponsible, big right-handed defenseman who's getting paid too much money because he's a big right-handed defenseman? Or is he actually a regular old guy that should be considered in an NHL's D-Corps top four? Risto has been very up and down. But this season he is playing for a Philadelphia Flyers team that you can debate may be in the process of selling. I mean, look, it's just a theory, a game theory, especially if you dive into the NHL standings right now. Philly's not doing all too hot. They are 8 points out of a wild card. Rick Tocchet, after starting out hot with this Philly Flyers team, doesn't look like his guys are going out there and putting in the proper work to get things done. Now, with that said, going back over onto Rasmus Ristolainen, let's dive into how the Detroit Red Wings may or may not fit into the picture. First tweet we're taking a look at, Darren Dreger on the Barn Burner podcast said earlier last week, I think of the Detroit Red Wings as being a team that's really looking for a right shot D right now. Top reply from Sunday says, I'm pretty sure we need a left shot D. I think Paul goes out there and says that, hey, they're looking for someone who can play in their top four. They don't really care what hand he is. With term, a left-hand D actually makes more sense, but I'm not sure the Red Wings really care. They're not going to chase the whole left-right thing, which is so overrated by today's media and fans. But with this right-handed defenseman idea being tossed out there, you then have Brandon J. Sommerman, who is the managing editor for Brotherly Bully and the editor for Philly Fan Life. He went out there and said, this is something to watch. Detroit has had a couple of scouts in Philadelphia the past week. Steve Yzerman loves big, physical D. If the Flyers were willing to retain, which they should be, Detroit could be a team to watch for Rasmus Ristolainen. $2.5 million would be a steal for that guy. Now, putting aside the fact that Steve Yzerman likes big physical D, Ristolainen is a player that I think fits a lot of the same conversation points that we have made about various defensemen heading over to the Detroit Red Wings. To various degrees, you can talk about guys having certain skill sets and being as good or as bad or whatever. We spoke already about Mackenzie Weegar being a potential Red Wings target. That was discussed out there by Darren Dreger. We also had conversations about Tyler Myers and a few other names over there. So big right-handed defensemen are a commodity. We understand that. That's been the way that the NHL's discourse surrounding defensemen has gone the past few decades. But with Ristolainen playing for a team that's been heavily scouted by Detroit the past little while, it would make sense in my mind if he was a guy they were interested in. Even if he is seen as a pretty big steal at $2.55 million. Now, for what it's worth, this is a reply Okay, not a reply, but a separate thought posted by Anthony DeMarco on Daily Faceoff regarding Ristolainen. While the Flyers are still open to moving him, there doesn't appear to be much interest. His struggle to stay healthy has certainly played a role in the lack of interest there. For what it's worth, Hockey Ice Storm said that Ristolainen is a strong physical presence and reliable shot blocker who struggles with defensive positioning and decision-making under pressure. He can contribute offensively, but he is inconsistent in that execution. And this season, the guy has 1 goal on the year, a wrist shot from the faceoff circle right there. So, hey, pretty nice graphic to showcase the skill set and the goal. He is a minus 183 in his career. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about. Polarizing defenseman, is he not? Let's go back over onto this Philadelphia Flyers Red Wings conversation and read some of the replies. Why are people so big on wanting Ristolainen gone? Zach said. What would be the return? A first-round pick? A prospect and a pick similar to the Lawton deal with Toronto? Why would the Flyers be willing to retain when the Wings have $13 million in cap space and almost all of their roster is locked up next year anyway? Doesn't make any sense. It's not like Risto is bad anymore either. Well worth the 5.1 when he plays. He's definitely injured a lot. Now, Ristolainen this season, I don't think we actually talked about it. He's got 6 points this year in 19 games played. So, there you go, right? Not available for most of the season. He's on pace for 45 games played. 14 points, which is good. That's roughly on pace for a 25-point year, a marker he hasn't hit since his days in Buffalo. But ultimately, Rasmus Ristolainen is a guy that has started to slowly get back up to speed and work himself back into proper NHL positioning. I mean, you take a look at his role with Team Finland, he'll be at the Olympics, he's on the team, he'll have himself a pretty big opportunity to redeem the past few years' worth of injuries and whatnot. Was he on the Olympic team back in 2014? No, he was not. He was too young. Okay, yeah, he was on the World Junior team back then. So, I guess it was a long time coming for Risto, 12 years in the making to make himself an Olympic debut. But could he be a Red Wing? I'm thinking about it like, hey, Sherratt Edvinsson, Seider, Ristolainen. That's a big, strong, bullying decor right there that can free up some space for Axel Sandin Pellikka to get a more sheltered role with offensive productivity, not being relied upon too much in his own zone. And in a way, you can say that type of development curve might be beneficial for a guy like ASP. Ristolainen would certainly be an upgrade over Hamonic, I tell you that. I don't think anybody's going to go out there and say they'd prefer Hammy over anybody the Wings could get in a trade. But whether it is a Tyler Myers or a Ristolainen or even a Mackenzie Weegar, there are a number of right-handed defensemen that are big, that are strong, that can do some really nice work that I think the Wings can take a look at. Ristolainen seems to be one of them, maybe, depending on their scouting staff and what it is that group evaluates in regards to Risto and his game. But with all that said, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think the Philadelphia Flyers could be trading Rasmus Ristolainen, and do you think the Wings could be a destination? Let me know in the comments all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.